Hey everybody, Jason here, Bullets of Bourbon, and we have the extreme privilege of talking with Ponfeigh's Master Distiller, kind of everything guy, Brendon Rawlings, right? That's what you do. I mean, yeah. And it was really cool. We got to sit and talk with Maximilian Merrill, who's the owner and founder, and you greeted us though when we got here and came in and showed us around, and I just was really drawn to you right away with your passion and level of knowledge of what you're doing. So enlighten us. Because you really
you can't just say enlighten us. You got to feed them a little bit more than that. You can't just say enlighten.
I'm trying to quit talking so I can drink my whiskey.
Okay,
I'm being real.
So you kind of gave us some background. You got a really in-depth background from Master Distilling. Can you go ahead, tell the listeners, tell the viewers a little bit about your background?
Yeah, I got into distilling with a friend out in Denver. We kind of just had an idea, a lot like Max. We were just thinking about it for years and years, and distilled at home, theoretically.
Yeah, in theory, 100%.
Figured out our recipes, got everything ready to go, and when we found an opportunity to open a distillery, quit our jobs, made that jump, and opened it up. And I never looked back. Once I got into the industry, it's just such an awesome industry to be in, and people are great, and it's challenging, which is a lot of fun for me. That's the best part of the job for me, is when something goes wrong.
Right.
And I have to figure out why did this fermentation go bad, or why is the spirit coming out tasting like that. And it's a very imperfect science. I came from the world of laboratories, which everything had to be exactly this way and very precise. But distilling is
it's an art.
You never know what's going to happen.
It's an art. It's a science, but it's an artful science.
Yeah. It's very helpful to know the science of it, but it's definitely an art. You're kind of guiding it in the right way as best as you can, but you never really know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So you went from that, and then you went and you were teaching classes?
Well, yeah, I was at Downslope Distilling south of Denver for a little while, and they teach. They have a class for up and coming distillers. So that was a really great place to learn a little more of the business side of it, because that was a lot of the classes oriented towards the business side of things. Some was obviously the distilling as well, but it was a great place to get that kind of intro.
Kind of like a finishing school to round yourself out with it. Yeah. Because we were talking earlier on the production floor, and Maximilian was saying, I'm the marketing business plan, and you're the brains, you're kind of the mixer. I'm crediting you here.
He's very well lubricated by now, if you haven't been able to tell.
This Manhattan's good. So, what got you out here to Ponfeigh? In the middle of Somerset, because you're a Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah,
you're a Yinzer.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
is that a polite thing to say or not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's what you're talking.
You don't like it.
I don't like you.
I think it's kind of jazzy. So
No, don't call me a jagoff, but you can call me a Yinzer. No, I went to high school in the South Hills in Peters Township, and I went to Pitt.
Peters Township. That's where we're from.
Oh really?
Yeah, McMurray. Yeah, whereabouts in Peters? We're getting way off subject, but screw it.
I grew up at the bottom of the hill on East McMurray. You go down past 19 and down the hill.
Right there next to the Catholic church, whatever it's called, Heiser's, which used to be the dairy bar, right, at Valley Brook and McMurray.
Oh no, other way.
Yeah, okay, you're the other end. Okay, right, close enough. Yeah, it's all Peters. Yeah, interesting. Wow, South Hills guy.
Yeah,
all the way in Somerset.
Yeah. So I went out to Denver after college. Lived out there for 10 years. My wife and I had a kid, so we moved back here to family. And I worked at Wiggle for a while, it was interesting getting my education in distilling out in the West.
Right.
And then I formulated my own plans and software and styles, and then came out here to Wiggle, and they did things a lot differently.
Yeah.
It's surprising. I mean, it's a lot bigger in the West, and then I came back here, and they were smaller than I expected them to be, and a little more in the startup phase than I expected them to be. But it was a great place to apply everything that I learned.
You got to go to work.
Yeah.
It was roll your sleeves up and dig in moment. Yeah.
And then from Wiggle, you're now out here, right?
Yeah. Max family up there. Wow. Oh, yeah. 2.5 years ago, we started talking about he needed somebody to come help set this thing up.
Yeah.
And I came down when this was just a
Nothing
shell.
here?
We were living in a construction trailer in the back.
Oh, wow.
And
Bet your wife liked that.
Not living. No,
Yeah.
we were all basically living there.
Yeah,
but every day we were in that crappy little trailer.
to this, which is
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's got a great feel to it. I mean, it's amazing. You got space to grow. I mean, you got a lot of space. I mean, you could have some fun events in here.
Oh, yeah. Well, so let's get back to the distilling, because, I mean, you're the master distiller here. So, you know, you're the one, you're getting the concept, the idea, the mash bill into the bottle.
Yeah.
So is that your mash bill, or, you know, I don't know how much.
Well, the mash bill was set.
Okay,
that
the mash bill was
95.5, that's really what we wanted to do.
Okay.
And that's our flagship. From there, we're going to be able to play around.
Okay, nice.
Like that Maryland rye that you guys tasted,
that
little
good.
bit of corn, I didn't know what that was going to do on the still. I was absolutely prepared for that to come off inferior.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the 95 rye, that's it. That's where it's at. But then it came off and it was sweet and nice, and that corniness on the rye.
It's just in the barrel for a little bit. That could be special liquid.
Damn it, that's good.
So, you know, obviously, you know, you're going to say Ponfeigh is going to be your bourbon, your whiskey, because you're the master distiller. Sure. I could claim anything else. But what are some of other bourbons or whiskeys that kind of like influenced you to want to maybe match or go above and beyond their flavors, their taste, their flavor profile? That kind of.
I'm so proud of Tom Brokaw over here.
There's a lot in Pennsylvania that I kind of drew on. One we talked about earlier, that Millstone rye from New Liberty. Is
get a little closer.
It's just an incredible flavor for a young rye, and that's something that I really appreciate about a young rye.
Yeah,
is you still get all the graininess in there,
right?
And it kind of gets lost with age while it's in a barrel. But that Millstone 18-month, that was one that I always had sitting by the distiller's table, and obviously Liberty Pole.
Oh wow!
I mean they're kind of the. Leading the charge in that.
So now I got to walk back a little bit, because Jason's got a really good relationship with Liberty Pole, and I give him a lot of shit because he's like, Liberty Pole. And I find myself gravitating more and more to some of the Liberty Pole products and kind of agreeing with Jason. But now hearing somebody else say, you know, Liberty Pole, I'm like, oh.
Well, there's nothing wrong with. I mean, somebody goes, "What's your favorite?" That's a question that I can't ever answer, because I have favorites.
I can.
Well, you love the cock,
chicken cock.
But with that said, I mean, me and this bottle here, we're going to have some conversations later at the house, and they're going to be smooth conversations. They're going to go down quite nice. It's very difficult for me to say what's your favorite. I can give you a top 20.
Yeah,
but I love the contrasting flavors between whiskeys. I don't like. There are bottles that I'll drink that nothing but for a night. But when we're doing a session drinking, we're having the guys over and we're pouring pours, I love to contrast the different flavors between the distilleries. And I may have 7 or 8 superior pours in a row from 7 or 8 completely different distillers and distilleries, and I'm happy, because that's 7 or 8 different masterpieces of art that is it's in a cup.
Yeah.
And that you and your fellow master distillers have poured your soul into in that barrel.
Yeah. And that to get to the point that you can appreciate those differences, that takes time and really hard effort. I mean,
a lot of hard effort. I mean, I work hard.
but when you first start, is this good?
Yes.
Is it not good? But then I can taste the difference of the oats that are in this mash bill, or that little bit of corn
I get black currant, or I get vanilla, or I get caramel. We get made fun of a lot when we make fun of each other. Craig, who couldn't be with us because he's at work, loser, he goes to work. He goes, my palate's shit. He'll say that a lot.
But it's starting to grow. He doesn't give it credit.
But there is nothing wrong with a guy that you could hand a whiskey to and you go, hey, taste this. And he goes, I like it.
Yeah.
Or I don't like it.
No.
Well, why do you like it? I don't know. I really like this.
Well, that part of it also is maybe not your palate shit, but maybe your vocabulary shit. You just don't know how to say it.
Yeah. No,
that's me half the time. My vocabulary is crap.
Yeah.
And like, I don't eat plums, so like I couldn't pick out a plum taste because you're always like, oh, it tastes like plums. I'm like, I don't eat plums.
Your standard response to for the longest time was like, so what do you think of this bourbon? What's your first word that comes to your mind? What does it taste like? He's like, bourbon. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, are you serious? But you know, you either when you have a guy like on a picking team for a barrel, when we go down, I like having a couple guys on the picking team that will just say, thumbs up or thumbs down. It's very simple to them.
Yeah.
It's not a well, this has an essence of nutmeg.
Yeah.
You know, they're just very straightforward with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes that's not important.
Yeah.
Like if it's good, it's good.
So I got another question for you. Are you more of a rye guy or just straight
whiskey, American
bourbon,
whiskey, single malt?
whiskeys?
What's your secret whiskey fetish?
Like I said, when I got started in the industry out in Denver, we were doing a Irish single pot still style whiskey. We got a cease and desist from the country of Ireland when we put that on the label.
That is awesome. I love it.
So
when Ireland tells you cease or desist, dude, to me, you've won.
Yeah, you've done something to get enough recognition. Oh,
that's great. Cheers to you, Irish. Not like a cease and desist to a bunch of Yankees, right? Yeah, okay.
So it no longer says that on the bottle, but that the Irish pot, the Redbreast Powers Green Spot, that pot still style whiskey. There's nobody in the world doing that outside of Ireland,
right?
And that's what got me into the industry and learning all the history of that and doing those home distillations and really trying to hone in that exact flavor profile. We did a lot of work on that, and so I got to know that whiskey really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
So I got another question because, you know, a lot of people don't just say...
You eat your cherry?
I already ate it. Damn. What are you talking about?
That was a good cherry.
It was a good cherry. It was really good cherry. And it's like Maximilian said, the cherries, they're not just any cherries. Those are some good cherries.
I digress. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Daniel, go ahead.
So, man, I lost my train. Okay, so you went to the University of Pittsburgh, went out to Colorado. You know, a lot of people don't say, you know what, I'm going to just dive right into distilling or whatever. How'd you go down that path? Because you're a master distiller now.
Yeah, it was my buddy. It was his idea.
Yeah.
And we started, well, I mean, he started on that path. And I was like, I love what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. And I had the science background, so I had something to add.
So what were you, like a chemist at Pitt or biology?
My major was biology with a minor in chemistry.
Okay.
Which is, I mean,
high IQ.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
But I mean, in a laboratory, when you're looking through a microscope all day and just filling
Makes you want to drink.
Well, I mean, I didn't really use my degree.
Yeah.
Like, I knew what I was doing and why, but when I'm sitting there doing this thing day to day,
it wasn't.
I wasn't using.
You weren't
my degree.
engaged the way you thought you probably were going to be.
But then once I get over here, and like I said, it's imperfect. Like, you don't know exactly what you're doing. You have to know some of that science stuff.
Yeah.
It helps a lot to have that background.
Well, we were joking around that, you know, maybe my middle son Oliver will be a chemical engineer. I can convince him to open a distillery, right? Mm-hmm. You know, get on. You know.
Oh, I've interviewed several chemies. That's a great place to start.
Yeah, especially if I groom him now as a bourbon drinker or a whiskey drinker, right? And he,
I don't think that's going to go over well with child welfare services.
No, I'm talking about when he turns 21. Relax, PA. Fuck.
Because somebody's out there thinking,
oh yeah,
there's some.
No, he needs to learn the chemistry in high school, and then when he goes to college and turns 21, he is going to become a sommelier of sorts. What do they call him? I love the whole bourbon story. I got to ask you this, as a master distiller. So, I can go to school online and become a executive bourbon steward. How much stock do you put in that? bourbon steward?
Oh, that's tough. Because I mean, appreciating the terroir in a wine that's made right there, and it goes right from the vine into the glass. Right. There's not a whole lot of processing in between. I feel like that's a real thing.
Yeah,
but not saying there's not terroir in whiskey. There is. Yeah, but it's just a lot more muddied.
Right, because it's going through a whole chemical process.
Yeah.
I mean, you're altering the state of the distillate.
Right.
From the moment that it comes off the still,
right,
which it's already been altered from the base products, to the time it goes in the barrel. And then when it goes in the barrel, one of the important aspects is being able to have the ability to gauge when that distillate is ready, right? Get it out of the barrel right now, especially if you're going to do something with Amberana or finishing, right?
Yeah.
We got to get it out of the barrel right now. And I see people on their Instagram, pages. I'm an executive brewer. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'll probably go do it just to say I did it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that definitely means you know what you're talking about.
At least definition.
You can tell that that's a bourbon and not a rye.
Right.
At least.
Yeah. Right. Which I feel like if I can't do that, but just off of history, then I need to just, get into Amway. But yeah, it's always interesting. Like when you talk to master distillers and you get their takes on certain, aspects of you're in the industry. We're peripheral. We're on the outside. We're peripheral and we're also consumers.
Yeah.
Large consumers of.
And you are long-winded as shit.
Well, I am.
I'm actually getting tipsy. This is good Manhattan.
I think I need a drink. I'm sitting here.
I know. So I have a question, and I got to interrupt because Jason does get long-winded, and if I don't cut him off, I don't get to say shit on a podcast.
It's true.
It is true. But as a master distiller, what's your favorite part of, I don't want to say so much the process, but is it thieving the barrels?
That's a good question.
I would say no. Honestly, I love that part, tasting it on the other end.
Right.
Okay.
But I really like making it.
Okay.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And like I alluded to before, it's when something goes wrong. That's where I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good day.
You got to use your brain.
Like diving into the equipment, getting dirty and greasy and taking shit apart. Like that's where I shine.
How often do you have that happen? Where you
all the time.
Really?
But I mean at the end of the day, when you thieve that barrel and you taste the goodness of the gods.
Yeah.
You got to sit.
That was really dramatic. It was really
but
dramatic.
if I was a master distiller, that's what I'd say. 100%.
Like it was just the hand part up there.
Goodness,
I just had that moment yesterday.
It's master distillery. I did this.
I hadn't tasted our first 2 batches that we barreled here until yesterday. So I had that moment, and I mean, I'm nervous. Everything comes down to this.
Yeah.
And I tasted it. It's like, oh God.
You
like
know,
now is it?
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you do it, this is gonna sell.
Yeah, and I'll give you some of that.
Because that's how I'd feel like every time, like because you have your nerves, and if I was a master distiller, like anything, like when we put out a podcast, it's like, is this going to fall flat or is this going to go good?
Yeah.
But as a master distiller, I'd be like, please let this be like, and then there has to be a barrel here, a barrel there that you're like, oh my goodness, what did I create? Am I Dr. Frankenstein? This is phenomenal.
Yeah. Every time I taste our cast strength, there's a little bit of that. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. It's a little bit surprising every time. Yeah. It's just so good.
I can imagine. I would guess you get a lot more excited on cast strength days than on just a 90 proof.
Well,
standard.
we have to test the barrels either way.
Darn. So, what a bad day.
Yeah, we're drinking it at cast strength either way. And the difference between the 90 proof and the cast strength, we try to pick barrels that have a little more of a heavy oak profile. We find that holds up to the dilution a little bit better. Yeah. So going in there and finding the right one, those are fun days. No matter what.
When you do your tastings, what percentage are you tasting and spitting out versus tasting and just enjoying?
Depends on the day. And depends on the person because learning.
As we look over at Maximilian,
learning to spit out good whiskey, it's
horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
But you have to do it. It's a learned skill.
It's just I can't imagine doing it.
But yeah, you have to. I mean, if we're doing a tasting at 9 a.m. and I don't want to have a headache at 1 in the afternoon, yeah.
It's so interesting because generally speaking, every Friday night we get together. We have the entire crew over. We do a podcast, and we'll start drinking about 3. And if we're pacing ourselves, I won't get drunk. I can probably drink.
Oh, there's been 9. A few episodes.
Well, there's been a few. Yeah, we have a regrettable episode out there. I think it was 20. It was just too many too fast.
Yeah.
But if I pace myself, I know I'm metabolizing quick enough and I get some food in my system, I'm good to go. But I don't know what would happen if you said, hey, Jason, you got to come to work today. We need 35 barrels thieved and tasted.
Uh-huh.
I think the first thing that I would just be smiling.
Yeah.
I think the first time you do it, you'd be smiling, but probably by the 5th or 6th time,
I shit my pants in the corner of the distillery, pass out my own vomit.
Yeah,
well, that's something that hasn't happened in Korea anyway, so I'm not really too worried about it. I mean, that's why you bring a change of clothes with you. But
yeah, I mean, when I'm distilling, I'm tasting a little bit of 140, 130, or 140 proof stuff all day anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta
invest in
learn
Aleve and Tylenol.
Yeah. Oh no, really? We've got a industrial size ibuprofen back there.
Yeah, I can't. It's just kind of going back to stop. We'll swing by Liberty Pole and we'll kind of just pop in and say hey to the guys, and they're back there and they're going through it. I'm like, good God, how do you do this all day? And that's when they're like, we got to spit it out.
Yeah,
we don't have it. We don't have the capacity to. No human could do that. I'm like, watch me, hold my whiskey.
They're like, yeah, you'll last a week, and then after that, you're going to be like,
my liver explodes, and I'm in the hospital. Yeah, I mean, well, we can't thank you enough for just taking the time, greeting us and walking us through, man. Fellow South Hill guy.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to come.
Look at you acting like you from the South Hills now.
Well, I'm going to adopt you. Get on, trash. Damn, this haters over here. Next time, so do you have any family still in the South Hills? Or do you go back home?
In Cannonsburg, yeah.
Next time you're in town, come by the Bunker Bar. We'll sit out in the back deck. We'll have some cigars and we'll drink some whiskey and I'll burn some meat, which is where
usually
I've left
what
off.
it is, burnt.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
What?
Just kidding. Brisket's good.
Break it up.
I have one bad brisket. Is what do they say? Well, I can't even say it on camera. I was about to go to a place you can't go to. But no, thank you so much. We really, really just enjoyed the time here. Enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, it's been great having
Look forward to it next time, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.